Running backs, higher, lower, Hail Mary running backs. Devontae Booker. This was a name that was heavily sought after on the waiver wire this week because Saquon Barkley obviously not being available. You really like Booker, and I think you have some good data to back that up.
Yeah, I've gotten a ton of sit-start questions, so I'm higher by like 5 spots, and I think deservedly so. I have him up at running back 18 at this point, so a top 24 guy. He's averaged, anytime he's seen 12-plus carries, it's happened in 10 career games, he averages nearly 16 points per game, 15.66. He has 11 TDs across those 10 games. This guy has a nose for the end zone whenever they use him in that area. Rock solid RB2 that a lot of people are wondering, do I get this guy in or out? I think you lock him in. Once he was the running back, once Saquon got knocked out, he saw 19 of the 20 running back opportunities. He ran 32 routes on the 43 dropbacks, like the only running back the only guy to do that. And he scored 2 touchdowns. I'm just saying, the guy has a nose for the end zone, over 20 fantasy points. He had the second most expected fantasy points among running backs behind only Madison last week. The guy is a usage monster, and I get that the Rams, not the easiest of matchups, they're actually below average in terms of yards per carry allowed. Like, they have Aaron Donald, and everyone's terrified of that. But outside of him, if you don't attack him right in the teeth, you can get around this defense, and certainly through the air, and that's what Booker's going to do. A true every down back that's not flashy, not sexy. Who does that remind you of? Wayne Gallman last year was the running back 7 for that stretch when Saquon Barkley got hurt, and he became the featured back even after this offense. This offense is better than the one. This year's Giants offense. Daniel Jones is a significant step better if he's playing, but even Mike Glennon this year is better than what we saw last year. So I really think Devontae Booker has to be locked into lineups at this point.
All right, Darrel Williams. He's going against Washington. He's your lower guy, which makes me sad because I picked him up off waivers for nothing, and I was very proud of myself. You got him as your RB23, although I will say on your board, and I put the ticker in on the bottom of the screen, you have him 21 for whatever that's worth.
I adjusted it beforehand. Yeah, I must have got it right as you updated it.
All right. Well, anyway, 4 below the experts. Also, you don't like Miles Sanders, and we are getting some Miles Sanders questions in the comment section. He's going obviously against Tampa tonight. You got him as your RB33. That's 4 below the experts.
Yeah, let's start with Williams, which, again, I have been 23, so he is a fringe starter, and especially in bye weeks, like a lot of people are probably going to turn to him, but I'm getting a lot of Booker versus Williams. As a pickup, I liked Williams more because I think he has a longer tail. CEH is already on IR. That might linger. I like all that. And he did see 45 of 62 backfield touches last year when Hilaire missed the time, so he was the guy. So far this year, he's seen 26 carries to 1 for McKinnon. He's run more routes on the year. Like, he should be the guy. But here's the issue is last year when he became the guy, those 3 games, he averaged under 6 fantasy points a game. Like, he wasn't sexy at all. He looks better this year. He scored a touchdown already. He's running with more power, it seems. But he had only 1 game that was actually useful last year, 11.3. 1 was under a half point. 1 was 1.2. And he doesn't excite me as a player. To me, I think this Clyde Edwards-Helaire injury is going to ultimately just be Mahomes' chuck fest. And I don't know. I'm worried about him. I think a lot of people are just like, Chiefs running back, great offense. There's no way it can fail. Well, that was the case for this guy last year. He saw the volume last year, even though Le'Veon Bell was there. This guy still saw almost 70% of the work, and he didn't do anything with it. I'm a little bit worried that people are just like assuming the offense is so good, he'll carry them to glory. And maybe he will. But I don't know. It's risky. He could also score 2 touchdowns because of how good of an offense it is. But I don't know, Nat. I'm not locking him in by any means. I'm lower.
I gotta say, I'm not overly excited about him. I don't think the Kansas City running back is necessarily just like printing your own money. I think CEH has proven that to us. Actually moving forward. But what I would say, I was desperate, and to pick up somebody that is a starter on a decent team. A team that puts up a lot of points, maybe they'll run later in the game. I felt pretty good about the pickup. I don't love him as a talent or anything like that.
No.
I wish you liked him a little bit more.
I want to for your sake, but I don't. Miles Sanders as well, as you mentioned, running back 33 -4 ECR. Since week 1, he had a great week 1, 17 fantasy points, the running back 12. He's been the running back 40, 35, 45, and 34. Nothing of note here. So 33 might be even generous, given that he's facing Tampa Bay, who remained one of the best rushing defenses. Now, granted, they've been great against the rush. They've been very generous, though, to pass catching running backs. You saw what Myles Gaskin did this last week. 10 catches, like 2 touchdowns through the air. And they Cordarrelle Patterson did the same. So if that receiving work goes to Sanders tonight, he could actually have himself a really good day. He's a great receiver. He's explosive in space. If they figure out this type of way to exploit this defense, Sanders is going to blow this out of the water. My concern is most of that passing game work has gone to Gainwell throughout the year. Last week, we did see Sanders get 5 targets, well over Gainwell. He's been kind of the squeaky wheel. They might try to grease him up. And that's what happened with Robert Woods when we were lower last week. So I don't know. If you got your Sanders questions, I'm probably going to say no to him. I also said no to Woods last week, so keep that in mind. But yeah, I just think this is one of those things. He's been so uninspiring, and now he gets one of the harder matchups you can get as a running back, unless he gets the receiving work, and I'm not confident he does, and that's why I'm lower on him.
This game tonight has beatdown written all over it. I don't know what you think.
It really does. I think Hurts could keep it. Their secondary is so bad, though, for Tampa Bay. Like, Hurts could keep this thing interesting.
We'll see. I hope so. I mean, I'm pulling for the Bucs, or I'm at least pulling for Antonio Brown to put up big fantasy points selfishly. I hope it's a good game. I just like watching good games better than
Let's go Mikey Evans. That's who I'm selfishly rooting for.
Right. Hail Mary. Ideally, you say Khalil Herbert, 42% owned. Gio Bernard tonight, 16% owned. Waited out till Sunday for Ramondre Stevenson, 12% owned. And then you got Samaje Perine, or 25% owned. Chris Evans, 2% owned. And you said there's been a lot of vaccinated talk about Perine.
Yeah. And then, so again, Herbert, I think, is my favorite. He's been like most leagues. If you're competitive, you saw the news. He's already been added. A lot of people already added him anyways, given that he saw 18 carries to 16 for Damian Williams last week. But if he's out there, he's the play. He's the definite play at this point. That's why it's like, if you're desperate, Gio Bernard's not a bad play this week. He's caught a receiving touchdown in back-to-back weeks since he's been active. He's got a clear role as that pass-catching back. But I would much rather, if you see Stevenson out there, if you see Perine, if you see Evans, these guys that could end up becoming these featured backs in decent spots this weekend, I'd rather wait this thing out. Like, I like Bernard, again, if it was this coming weekend. Same with Gainwell, right? I got a lot of Gainwell questions in my DMs. Like, I don't hate them in a vacuum, but I hate the fact that I'm burning this spot that probably could very well be useless tonight. I don't feel great about Bernard. I don't feel great about Gainwell, when I could also have a guy getting 20 touches that's just sitting out there in waivers right now. I'd rather wait this out. There's so many of these injuries that are up in the air. To me, the Hail Mary situation hasn't fleshed itself out yet. I don't want to take that Hail Mary tonight. But if you're going to, toss one in on Bernard. Why not? But I don't recommend that. Let's make
Stash and C, Jerick McKinnon, 12% owned. Really?
Yeah. I mean, as I just said, Daryl Williams was very unimpressive as a starter last year.
When was the last time Jerick McKinnon's been really impressive?
He like week 3 last year. He was okay.
Yeah.
He had a good featured back.
A year and a half ago, he had a week where he was okay.
Old tired legs, though. Remember that quote last year? Tired legs.
I do remember.
I cut him as soon as tired legs came out. I was just, I'm done with you.
I just feel like if you're gonna say, "Oh, Williams hasn't been impressive," I mean, when's McKinnon been impressive?
In training camp when the pads are off.
Like 4 years ago, before like the 2 ACL injuries or
Workout
something.
warrior, baby.
I picked that guy in like the second round.
I remember that when the 49. Yeah. That was the ultimate hype train for sure. But this is it. He has looked good in limited opportunities, very limited opportunities, deservedly so, as a pass catcher. I think he brings a lot more to the table than Darrel Williams does in that role. If the Chiefs find themselves in a shootout, McKinnon might become that guy. And I don't think Darrel Williams is this impossible to supersede guy. Now, I will add to that stash and see. I want to add Marlon Mack to that list. Not because of the Colts. There's rumors that the Chiefs are interested in trading for him. This guy just averaged over 9 yards per carry in his last game. Looks like he's fully back from the Achilles. Great news for Cam Akers, guys. Like this, maybe the Achilles isn't quite the death knell it used to be. The fact that Marlon Mack looked as good. So I'd rather honestly stash Marlon Mack than Jerick McKinnon, but both of these guys as like potential workload guys in one of the NFL's best offense, it's worth seeing what happens with them. If you have that bench space, why not see what McKinnon does? All
right, must watch. All these injuries, and there are many. We went over a lot.
We don't need to go back into it, but yes.
Javonte Williams breakout week, maybe, and the Chiefs backfield distribution, which we've been talking about a bunch. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing all those things.
Yeah, the biggest new one there is Javonte Williams breakout. I think this is it. The Raiders giving up a touchdown every single week. I think he's just going to get one of those monster runs. We keep seeing it week in and week out. And I don't know, maybe call it a gut call. I just feel like the coaching staff's going to finally be like, you know what? Let's see what this guy does. Gives him 20 carries. And I don't think there's going to ever be looking back if and when they do that. For whatever reason, I think it's going to be this week. The Raiders are a perfect opportunity for that to happen against as a very generous run D. So he's my must-watch player this week. And I'm starting him in a bunch of leagues, a lot of bye week woes. Get him on in there. I think he's finding the end zone, and I think the team is just going to turn the keys over this week. It's just a gut call. I can't wait to see what happens, though.
All right. Before we get on to wide receivers, remember to give us a like, give us a love, give us something so we'll know you were here. We'd appreciate it. We're going to try to get through these quick. What are you drinking, man?
This is the Lord Hobo 617 Hazy IPA, given as a gift to me from Emery, an RSJ writer. Love the guy. Thank you, Emery, if you're tuned in. He tunes in often. Thank you for these beers. They're delicious.
What's the alcohol content?
Nice 6.7. Yeah, 6.7. Right. Not bad.
I'm drinking Scandic River Brewery double IPA, 8%. It's North Trail India Pale Ale. Excellent. I highly recommend it.
Okay. Nice 8%.
Yeah. Won't just take me a few.
What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments, check out some more videos, and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.